There we go, and we're live. So, guys, I got all antsy in the pantsy just because Kyle's here, and so this is what we're building. It's Sesame Street. Joey, you've already commented. YouTube is calling this a live event. They're using the word event to describe an occurrence. I mean, sure. Can you tell me how to get away from Cole Street? I'm like, that's easy. Just show me your wiener. He'll run away. Anyways, so yeah, this thing is pretty insane. It's only, let me see. It's 1,400 pieces. So
wasn't that silly boat like 12?
Yes.
Oh, no, wait. Maybe that was.
So the boat was 600.
Pooh.
Yeah, Pooh
was like.
Pooh was 1,200, I think. Yeah.
But it's so small. This has got to be bigger.
It's a lot bigger, and it's got a lot more bags. So let's just see what happens.
Usually, bigger gets you more bags.
I mean, that's. So I'm debating. Is Joey here? What was that?
Well, I don't have a mic exactly to point it into. I don't know where the mic is.
Okay. All right. Let me try and organize this business so everyone can see here. This is what I'm trying to organize. It's a lot of things. Okay. So we have.
See, like Joey was saying, an occurrence. I'm like, well, this is now a reoccurrence. So,
I mean, something like that.
Yeah. See, I don't know what's with these people and vaping and how they thought somehow this was like a better alternative. Honestly, my lungs are like worse because of this shit.
It's, you know what? Like, I found that I cough a lot more. Like, it's like a weird wheezy cough when I vape.
Yeah. Right there.
Yeah. It's like it's not a fun experience or anything. It hurts. All right, let's see here. Okay, I have like 7 bags number 2, so that's awesome. Thank you. 4, 5, 6, and 6. Okay, so go like that. Hopefully that stays in some sort of order. There's number 3. Then I have a second number 3, 2 number 2s, 2 number 1s, and then the bottom pieces. All right, we're good to go.
Usually when you're on number 3s, it's not really like a second or a first. It just keeps counting until you can stop.
That is true. That is how the science works, sir. Let's see. There's a shit ton of stickers, which I'm getting better at doing the stickers, so it's something. All right, let's see. While Kyle is away, I'm assuming what I can only assume is coughing up a lung. Because
I'm blowing my nose, so
even
visual too.
Even better. So it comes with a Sesame Street book. I'm going to be using the online companion. So this one is a retired product, as I was saying, Kyle.
I would like to be a retired product.
I mean, like, so a lot of people, especially like when I cross the border, people are like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "I do comedy and stuff." And then I'm like, "Wait, no, I'm retired. I don't do anything. I do nothing in the world." I think that it's becoming an easier response to, what people ask me.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
I guess I should say retired, but then they're like, "You're so young and youthful."
Like, that's correct. And then rub it in their face. Be like, "I also have a lot more hair than you son of a bitch."
And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm retired in the way unemployed people are."
Yeah.
I don't have a job. Don't intend to get one.
I mean, like that. See, there's the difference. Is like I remember growing up, like because I studied finance and economics, right? So when people are like, "Well, there's people who are underemployed, people who are unemployed, but there are people who just don't want to work at all," and I'm like, why would nobody want to work? And now I'm like, oh, I get that. No, nobody should work. It's a horrible idea. Whoever came up with the idea of a job, you're like, yeah, you're the worst.
No, but it's weird. Like, well, it used to contribute to society. Now it's just like fill your time. Like,
yeah, that's the difference. Before you were building a world, right? And then you're like, oh, now it's just bullshit. It's no, we're just wasting our time wherever. That's what we do.
See, I'm like super motivated when there's like a decent job, but then my job always turns like it goes south so quickly. Usually, it's insane.
But like that's the thing is, it goes south because people are like, oh, I can take advantage of this person. You're like, how about no? How about just stop being a jerk?
But it's just like, well, working on Hexwood, it was great.
Yeah.
Big, it was like the whole building it, all that stuff. I was doing like 12-hour days at least most days, and then well, I don't know, maybe not that long, but 10-hour days and whatnot, and just like going all day, and then immediately like we start working on other events, and it's a different job now.
Yeah, which I mean,
and like it's a lot more laborious than my previous position, so it's like very
Well, and you know what? Like, I can understand that it's not always going to be glam, but you're going, well, it can be a little bit. Joey says his recipe for sore throat, Kyle, you should be eating pussy. Thanks, Joey. That's appreciated. What's the most times you have ever eaten? That's a horrible question, but all right.
Well, that's the thing. I don't have one.
Yeah. So like, you can't go to the grocery store anymore and buy that, Joey. Those times are gone.
No, you could go there and hope, but it's unlikely. And I mean, well, at least twice. I don't know what in recent memory, and before that, I don't know.
All right, so
high school seems a long way away now.
First things first is we have made a big bird, which I believe is the start to any story. First, we start with a big bird. Yeah,
you always start with the figures.
Yeah, just makes life easier.
I don't know. I don't like it, but at the same time, thinking back, maybe did I? Probably. I don't know.
Well, that's it. Like literally, the instructions are okay. This is a figure. Build this first. Like that's normally right where it starts.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
well, it was like, but it's like one big bird. The other day, it was like 6 things.
Oh like, yeah.
Like, I don't need to see you build 2 goats.
I mean, they were centaurs, but yeah, they kind of look like goats. That's fair. That's a reasonable conclusion.
Fuck, I'm half centaur. You can't get fucking. No offended people here. Yeah. You haven't seen below the waist.
I mean, but that would be people are like, oh, what do you do? I'm just a centaur. It's like, what? Yeah, that's right. That's my life.
I just like to say I'm hung like a centaur.
I mean, listen. I sent that to everybody. Was that technically a horse has a 20-inch wiener, but it's also 2,000 pounds. So for every 50 pounds is 1 inch wiener. So 200 pounds, you get 4 inches wiener. So you can always tell them you're hung like a horse. They just don't. They just haven't done the math. That's on them.
That's not even a good thing.
It's not. It's not. Yeah.
That would actually grade me down.
I know. That's why I'm just like, yeah, it's not a compliment. It's not. Everybody's out here going, oh, look at a horse. You're like, horses. Okay. It sucks to be you, loser. So.
I'm like just shy of 250, and that doesn't add up to 13.
Oh God. Yeah. That's gonna go over well. Thanks, Kyle. Perfect.
That's just unnecessary.
If anything, it's become a burden.
By the end, you're not even in it anymore. I don't know. Yeah. I may get a phone call, but she rarely calls me back. But I made it intriguing.
I mean, that's the key. That is an important part of everything. Let me see here. I'm looking for a few more. There's a few too many pieces in these first bags. Like they can make the bag smaller, but they're like, no. It's gonna be gigantic, and you're just gonna have to like it. Like, I don't want that, but oh well. So, how's your weekend been so far, there, Kyle?
I've had better.
Fair enough. That is understandable.
But well, I don't know. What's today? Today's Sunday.
It is Sunday.
Friday. What's Friday? I don't know, man. Yeah, it's just been. Well, no, I'm like, yeah. No, it's been kind of shit. And then reasons why. And then and the rest of you don't. So fuck yeah. I like to leave the most interesting parts of my life offline. Uh, only boring for you.
I mean, hey, you got to keep the mystery alive. That's fair. I understand.
Yeah, like I'm half centaur.
Yeah.
Well, I
They
guess
can't. They
all
can't say otherwise.
centaur, like because
Yeah. Also factual.
the half I'm talking about is still like it's centaur. It's
that
the human part. I don't know.
was, bro. That's one of the best jokes where it's like, what if you, your parents were, one was a minotaur, one was a centaur, and then you just were human. You're like, yeah, I just came out normal. Yeah, I'm just, or you just, oh yeah, like, and you're like, oh yeah, it's just dominant genes. What are you gonna do? Like,
yeah. Well, if you were like, came out like a little person or something.
Oh, bro, that
because like you'd have the stockiness of the centaur.
You have the stockiness of the centaur, and exactly
know.
One of those things.
See, what are you now? You're making Sesame Street.
I am literally making Sesame Street, yeah. Because so essentially, this is the basis, like the platform for the whole thing, and then we go from there. But at the same time, it's a weird. Like
See, but like
it could.
I remember getting sets, and there was just like a big flat piece.
Yeah, so I do have like a couple of reasonably big ones, but not big ones. Because I remember like you could get like a big thing. Yeah. I think those are mostly used for like the big building builds, because you just have that flat thing and you just build on top of it. But at the same time,
I know. I'm trying to think back, and I'm like,
is everyone?
Well, lots of my stuff is like medieval.
Undergoing a hoe phase. I am not. I am happily married. Kyle is in his hoe phase. There's no.
Yeah, but it's not like by choice. Like, like I just want, like, I want a girl that sticks around and actually wants to be like in a relationship and shit.
It is like the crazy part is that is actually now hard to find. Like that is like not.
Everybody just wants their space. I'm like, I've had a lot of space.
Yeah,
I currently have a lot of space. I just want to know that it's me and you, and then you can have more space. But it's just like, how long am I supposed to wait till between dates? Because it's like I'm like, what, fucking monthly at this point, or else I'm crowding your space. Like it's too. I don't know. I'm like, you tell me how much. Give me guidelines.
Yeah, I feel like that is the key here. Is people are not realizing they're like, listen, you can't just. I need space. What does that mean? Like I remember going on dates way back. And one girl was like, well, I don't feel any. She's like, you're such a great guy. And I'm like, all right. I see this is going shit. Okay. What else do you have to tell me?
Yeah.
It's like, but it's just no spark. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Sorry. I have no idea. I have no point of reference for what you're talking about. So kind of.
She didn't catch the feels, my friend.
Yeah, but that's them problem. That's not a me problem. That's I'm awesome.
It's a you problem because that's not a reason to stick around.
See, but that's the thing. Like, it's not like I'm like, okay, well, I'll take it home and part ways. And then I'm like, I saw her a whole bunch of times. I'm just like, oh, okay, that's weird. But
like you dated her still?
No, she got invited to parties and stuff, like where like to a birthday party of mine, and I'm like, all right, that's weird. Sure.
Yeah.
It's people do weird stuff. I find it's a lot. People do a lot of weird stuff.
I agree. No, I don't know. It's all just like whatever. I don't know. Nobody wants to. Although, like my last two have been like eerily similar. I have like a type, and I don't know how I can pick them. And like, it's not even like I track them. I don't know, man. It's fucking weird. Because the circumstances in which I meet them do not allow for the knowledge of these criteria, and then poof, same. Like,
which is confusing. It's super confusing.
I'm like, how did I find the one?
Right.
It was like going into a dark room, finding one with a blindfold on. Like you have a blindfold on too, and somehow picking out the same type.
Yeah. Which you're like that's the hilarious part is like at least that's added some data that we can work with, right? That's the one advantage we have.
I need a new type.
Yeah, you need a new type. That's yeah. You have to. There, I feel like we should have a questionnaire. Kyle's questionnaire. How
Yeah,
to
the
date
problem
Kyle.
is there ain't a lot of people filling out the questionnaire.
I mean, I feel that we could like you got to sift through because there's going to be a lot of people that you're like, oh, no,
No,
absolutely
I
not.
don't think there's going to be a lot of people at all.
I
It's hard to sift when you have like one applicant.
God damn it, Kyle.
And then you're like, no, thank you.
Yeah, well, there's that part, right? Because some people are like, but, and you're like, no.
But
Thank
see,
you.
like, look at this shit that you're doing. I don't remember doing this to build platforms.
Yeah, well, it's elevated a little bit, I guess, which I'm like, I don't know,
like you
just make a normal thing.
Sesame's sewer system.
I mean, a little bit. I mean, Oscar the Grouch is actually some sort of spy, and he goes from tunnel to tunnel. It seems reasonable, Kyle.
I like how you made that up, and it was very believable.
So I've been working on this for a while, and I've used it a few times, but it's the idea that I can because I really do my best not to lie in my daily life. And the reason is because a lie is a sin and murder is a sin. So I'm like, why would I waste it on a lie when, like, if the time arises, I could use it for something that's really quality. Just saying. Now, that being said, it's like people will be like, oh, how do you guys know each other? And I will be like, oh, we met in the French Foreign Legion, and just walk away. And then people will turn to the other person I was talking about, and they're like, and I'm like,
okay, but like, I don't. Okay, I don't lie. I think I should more, but I don't. Yeah, because quite frankly, like, I don't like living with it, but it seems like a lot of people can't handle the truth.
Really? So, yeah, that is true. That is true.
But like what you just did, I don't think of that as a lie.
Right? It's not.
As much as hilarious.
It's kind of like, you should see some people's faces. I said it to a group of lawyers, and they were like, huh? And I just walked away, and it was some of the funniest shit I've ever done.
Well, because at least they're like listening, and at least you're not boring. Like, it's like,
trust me, that night was I in the end I was like, hey, I need a lawyer in case like shenanigans. Do any of you guys handle that? And they're like, no. And I'm like, you guys should hire a shenanigans lawyer. I'm like, I'm just saying, every law firm should have a shenanigans lawyer.
See,
and if you don't,
I have a lawyer, but she is not a shenanigans lawyer either.
I know it's hard to come by a shenanigans lawyer. And
but
I think it's
I think you're see, I'm talking criminal and you're just talking shenanigans. But
I mean, there's various forms of shenanigans, sir.
It was weird. You look at me and you don't think, you think criminal lawyer. Oh, not, but like, no, mine is she's everything but criminal and family. Like, she's like,
family lawyer though takes a very specific person, right? Like,
well, she's like the toll. She doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Criminal, I don't know. I guess she wants them in jail. I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, I feel like, yeah.
She does like real estate mostly. So.
Yeah, and that's also too like I almost feel like that's borderline like an accountant, where I'm like, there's just such a tedious process, but I'm like, that's the problem, is real estate's become like that, right? Where it has to be, there's a lot of dots and crosses that you got to make sure happen, otherwise it's not going to go well, and that's just reality now.
But no, like it does look like now you're building a sewer. But like she's a killer too. But like she's just helping me like keep I don't know, get money I'm owed and bullshit. Yeah, it's weird. I've taken more action. Also, I got handed papers, so I had her read over those, and she's like, "Yeah, just whatever."
Yeah,
like, sign them. You'll be happy you're gone. Be happy you're getting the package. I'm like, yeah. It sounded good, but you're gonna have your lawyer look over, right? Like,
yeah. I think that's important because, listen, I think it's more so that they have an ability to comprehend, and they're looking for very specific words, which, you know, the lay person doesn't know. Like, I remember when I was when I worked at a bank, like, yeah, I could tango with lawyers because they use words to try and mess with you, and you're like, English, not lawyer speak. Talk to me in English. I'm not accepting those words. And they would get really angry, and I'm like, what? I'm like, we both know that you're trying to bamboozle. Right, so don't bamboozle me. We're working on the same side, so don't try and bamboozle me. Like, I had I remember one lawyer, in the legal documents, it says that that there's no asbestos or anything in the property, but it was an older home. And he's like, and he was actually a very wealthy lawyer. And he's like, well, I can't guarantee that, so I don't want to sign it. And then so I had to go back to legal, and he was like, so you can add to the best of my knowledge, because that's the intent. And he's like, okay, so we'll do that. The advisor signs, I sign, initial that mark, that's fine. And it's like, and you're just like, yes, but also like, calm down there, fucking Columbo.
Yeah, but like, known.
Yeah, well, that's
known.
Yeah,
that's this or whatever.
Well, that's the thing is, if they wanted to screw you, they could turn around and just go, oh yeah, well, now you have to prove it, and we're going to send an inspector over, and they can do that, right? Like, there's a lot of really dog shit things that people can do when it comes to the law. That's
especially real estate.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
But hey,
I have to warn you, wifey might call. But,
really?
Well, I messaged her,
and you said,
sorry. Anyway. So I messaged her and whatever. I was telling her the situation.
Yeah.
And then I called her, but she didn't answer. She was on the phone with her boss or some shit and had other calls. It's fine. First thing I would have said is, "Are you busy?" And then so whatever.
Yeah.
And then she messaged me back and said that she'll call, but she forgets, so remind her. And then, which she has forgotten every time she said she's going to call, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
But like, you know her, it's hard not to love her. So then I told her, I'm like, oh, I was going to tell, there's a lot more of the story, and I was going to tell you, but you're going to have to call me to figure it out. And then she called me out on that and loved it. Like, she's like, well, you manipulated me into wanting to call you more. And so, yeah.
That is a top tier move, sir. Top tier move. That's when you're going, I feel like that could actually be a good move where you call me like, hey, I was wondering if you want to do something that was super, super cool, but you didn't pick up. So I guess it's on you, and hang up and just wait.
That's like George Costanza leaving his hat behind.
Costanza. I mean, shit works, man.
All right, I have a question. Those don't line up. Is that right?
Which ones?
The yellow and the brown there.
This.
See how you see through the arch and you see wall?
Correct.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either. However,
poor design. Sesame Street, Lego.
How dare you, Lego Sesame Street? You sons of, you dirty bastards. I mean, how dare they? How absolutely dare they?
Okay, have you watched Lego Masters?
Yes.
Okay. Opinion?
Like, Lego has a lot of
insane what they do.
Yes.
Like building upside down and doing it. I've played with Lego all my life. No way.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that like if you just go on to TikTok or Instagram or anything and look up illegal Lego techniques, like it comes up with so many things that Lego deems, oh no, you can't use Lego that way, and you're like, what? That's not. So like you can make an accordion out of pieces and stuff, like, and it gets really like crazy. And then they're like, oh, but that's deemed like an illegal usage of Lego. And I'm like, what are you talking about? If Lego can do it, it's legal. You can't dictate how Lego is used, right?
But like illegal for what, that TV show, or just like you shouldn't use it?
Both. It's on the TV show, and then Lego's like, we don't accept, like, because remember, if you build Lego independently, you can submit that to Lego to become a set. And if Lego deems it a set, you get paid for that. Like you get a cut of the money.
Okay, so you can't have stuff using those building techniques.
Yeah.
To submit.
Which is completely insane. But
well, yeah, but they want to keep their instructions a certain way. Like I suppose that makes sense. But
I believe it has something to do with the complexity of the technique and also the danger too. Like, because everything has a warning of choking hazards and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, my dude.
You're supposed to put it together with your teeth in some of these techniques.
I mean, I could see you trying to break them apart with your teeth. Let's be honest.
Well, I've done that.
Yeah, we all have. Come on.
Well,
Before before they started providing this patented magical tool, everyone's like, just bite it and squeeze it. It'll break. It's fine.
That was horrible though. And then you'd
Absolutely.
have like bite marks and shit.
Oh, I remember having bite marks on some Lego. That is true. All right, let's see. We have the flowers. I believe this is actually like a grating that goes under. Like this is the building, and that's like the hole, like a basement window kind of thing.
Okay, yeah. Well, they do have. Didn't they have basement shops?
They do. They did because it's like New York, how they have like the stairway downward, like so at street level, and then go down. So like that would be the basement window kind of thing. What's up, Dorito? Joey is a magical tool. I mean, if you're a lesbian, probably. That's. Oh God. Yeah. No, I'm. We went. I went out for a friend's birthday yesterday. That was a wild experience.
Yeah, I saw you dressed in your formal attire.
So originally I was like, I was gonna wear a suit, and my friend is like, no, don't wear a suit, just dress casual. And then she saw a picture of me wearing my Appa fleece, where I have like a hood and 6 arms and a tail. It's awesome. I love it. And in turn, my God, that cough is killing you, bro. No. Are you okay?
Yeah, it was this, but yeah.
The drugs have gotten him. But yeah, so she was like, just dress casual. And then I'm like, but it was white and there was barbecue. I'm like, I don't want to tempt fate. I'm not that smart. So
no, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So in the end, I was like, even Victoria was like, wear Mario, because that way you're number 1, still casual. Number 2, it's fun. And number 3, you could just watch it. It's fine. I'm like, nah, that's why you get married. She tells you the secrets.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Okay, you know what? That wasn't intended that way. I'm sorry.
No, I know. I'm playing. I just it's funny. Like, well, it's not funny. It's just all my life is fucking hilarious. If you don't have to live it, it's fucking.
I mean, that kind of goes for Cole too. It's like Cole's like, my life isn't a big deal, and you're like, your life is terrifying, sir. Because the stuff he comes up with, he's like, have you ever been cornered and somebody threatened to stab you? I'm like, number 1, I can't be cornered. I'm too big. Number 2, it's stab me. I'm like, it better be a big knife, because you got to go deep to get to something important. That's just, even now, it's just how it is.
Cole is. I love Cole. I wish to meet him in person one day, maybe this year.
So I may be going down there for St. Patty's Day. They're having a thing, but at the same time, I have stuff that has to be handled here. So I'm like, it may not happen.
I need to do my passport.
Yeah, you definitely need to do that.
But I'm also kind of waiting on some checks. So
yeah, well, No. Joey's having a thing in May, right, Joey? May 18th, I think.
Yeah, that was the day. He wants me to come down and steal your women.
Yeah, that seems reasonable. I mean,
if they're what's representing online, I will return them justly.
Almost immediately. Probably in better condition. Let's be honest.
Maybe we do have healthcare.
So we do have healthcare, and you know.
See, thankfully, nobody likes that Obamacare. Otherwise, I wouldn't have that to hold over anybody. It's my only going.
It's a good move. It's fair. It works. People need to realize there are options.
No, but it's like, fuck. No, but you're like dating somebody. Fuck, man. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm looking for something, and it's just like.
It's frustrating.
Nobody wants to give it a chance. And,
see, I'm.
Everybody scares so easily of, like, I don't know, honesty,
feelings. Well, that's 100% accurate. Why is there a spider web in Sesame Street? Let me look at the box.
That is a valid question. You got yourself a smart woman there.
Yeah, she does not like spiders. So let me see here. I don't.
There's a spider there, though.
There is also a spider there. Sorry, honey. I do not see where it goes. I'm assuming it's going to go somewhere underground. We'll see. We're going to find out together.
It's the Spider-Man episode.
It's Spider-Man. Yeah.
Sesame Street or whatever the fuck.
Spider-Man goes to Sesame Street and ruins everyone's existence. I mean, that could happen. Actually, the funny thing is, the next page that I'm doing is the spider. So,
well, it has to be like it's in the first bag. So.
In the first bag, it's got to happen right now.
It's got to be like part of it.
Now is the time.
Those are like the weirdest colors, eh?
They really. So the hilarious part. So with the brick heads, I found out that they'll use a round red piece will be in their chesticle area, and then a pink square will always be in the head, right in the middle. And I'm like, it's representative of the brain. And I'm like, that's actually pretty wild.
Oh, they're like in it?
Yeah, on the inside. It's yeah, I know. It's so messed up.
Since when? Wait, what?
Yeah, it's on the brick heads, not the little ones, the ones that I make that are pretty big.
Oh, okay. I've never built those.
So this goes right here. So essentially, inside this house, don't go. Just don't go inside this house. That's a.
But basic... it's like there's this detail nobody's ever gonna see.
No one's ever. It's on the inside of this house. Like it's either.
It's like underground.
I don't understand why they would do that. That is. I think Sesame Street might be a bad person. I don't know.
It's like putting in the brain, right?
It's one of those things. One of those things. Jesus. Because this actually gets closed in right now. That's so messed up. That is wild. All right. So here.
No. Oh, and then you've seen my posts or whatever, and Moira checked in on me.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Why is Big Bird eating them? I'm like, Big Bird's Big Bird. He does whatever he wants. That's fair, Victoria. Come on.
Okay, Big Bird's a boy, right? Like we're on.
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Is he not?
Did you know that girls think he's a girl?
Oh?
Yeah.
Huh.
And apparently, I don't know what they've pronoun Big Bird at before. But I don't know. But yeah, apparently that's the thing. And I'm just like, really? I never consider it to not be a boy.
Also, birds eat spiders. I mean, that's fair. I mean, I've always thought that Big Bird is more of a chicken than a spider or a bird.
It's named Big Bird. And
I know,
chickens are birds. I don't know what you want. Okay, quick survey from the audience.
Yeah.
Write in the comments, Big Bird, boy or girl?
Big Bird, boy. I want to know. I want to know. Yeah. I need to know. I have questions, people. I have questions.
And then people are going to be like, Transformer. Anyways,
I mean, he's, yeah, well, that's also possible. Oh, that was just for Joey. You're welcome, Joey.
I still have 3 pieces of pizza because I stopped myself because if I don't have at least 3, it's just a snack later. So
that's a fair point. Yeah.
And even then, still kind of just a snack, but like, you know.
I do know, sir. I do know.
My eating habits have become not the greatest. Like, I ate breakfast yesterday, and then it was like 7 o'clock. I'm like, why the fuck am I hungry? I'm like, because you haven't eaten in 8 hours? And I'm just like, oh, that's how that works. But yeah, like.
My wife has Googled it. Big Bird is an 8'2" tall, bright yellow, anthropomorphic canary. A canary. If a canary, this is like the Clifford of canaries. I don't think that's fair. I
think that's the joke, though.
I think, well, also true. That is fair. And I am
Peru, boy or girl? Real or fiction?
Ooh. I mean, I love today's special. I really did.
That's not today's special. That's Polka Dot Door.
Pokeroo is in today's special.
No, Pokeroo is in Polka Dot Door. Today's special is Muffy the rat, the mannequin guy, the black chick, and that puppet guy.
No, but you just missed Pokeroo. Remember?
No, Pokeroo had people, and they played in a room with toys, and then the humans would go away, and Pokeroo would show up.
One human would go away. I'm assuming he was Pokeroo.
Well, no, all the humans never met Pokeroo, and then he just got told. They got told about it by the toys.
No, now we're gonna have to have
Today's
that.
special was shot in Toronto in the fucking
Is it really?
like Eaton Center. Yeah,
Is it really? I didn't know that.
something like
Damn.
that. Yeah,
Damn.
and it was like we consider it the TV's first interracial couple.
Is it really? Well, I guess so. Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense.
But yeah, those are two different shows, man.
I think you're gaslighting me, sir.
I'm not. Okay, Victoria, Google.
Yeah, Victoria has become Alexa for our show.
Yeah,
Hi,
yeah.
Victoria. Google, is Pokeroo in today's special or in Polka Dot Door?
Yeah, like those are two different shows, my friend.
Mm-mm.
Polka Dot Door. One time I made a, like in CrossFit, it's all about the workouts, but I would name them fun things, and then people loved it. Like I had a today's special. People just love that, and then I had like a space cowboy one, so it had like Firefly, Hans, and Chris Pratt. And then I think I made a Goblin King one because Bowie had died, and
That's only reasonable.
yeah.
I mean, if
There's
anything, you're
something with Robin Williams too.
Pokeroo is in Polka Dot Door. And who was in today's special? There's something in today's special. I know there was something.
Yeah, it's Frosty, the white dude who needed a hat to come alive because apparently he's Frosty.
I did love that.
And then the black woman was like, I guess she worked there. I don't remember. And then there was like the security guard that was like, he was a Muppet too, but he was semi-retarded. And he was like the Barney Fife of the situation. And then there was a rat named Muffy, which is
I remember Muffy, yeah. Which also that's weird.
But yeah, they all worked in the department store overnight.
I still liked it. But also today's special is my name is Jeff and Jody. Jeff and Jody. Yeah. There you go. Double J. I love it.
But yeah. She knows that I am correct about all of this.
Listen. Don't let it get to your house. Let it get to your head, okay, Kyle? Mr.
I know the children's show is better than you.
I mean, that's a claim to fame for sure.
Shall you take a knee now or later?
Sam Crenshaw was the guy with the mustache. I remember that.
Yeah, but she said something else.
What is this show? Today's special. Today's special was like a huge part of my childhood.
Despite thinking Pokeroo was in it.
You know what? That wasn't necessary, sir. I feel personally attacked, you son of a bitch. God damn it, Kyle. Oh, now I fucked this up.
Here, I'll explain it to you, Victoria, because, you need somebody who watched it. Who paid some attention. Okay, so it was a department store after night, and you put, funny enough, a plaid beret on the mannequin guy who was a white dude.
Yes.
And he would come to life. And then there was a security guard. And I don't know if he was like the one they tried to hide from, maybe. Like a quasi-villain, although not really. Like just a... And then there's Muffy and Mouse, who I guess can only play in the department. But I honestly don't remember like any real interactions, like what the episodes were about. I just know the characters.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
All right, so we have.
You can also add characters from other shows.
Why do I have so many extra pieces? Give me a second here, Kyle. I think I screwed something up somewhere.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't feel like I screwed stuff up, and then all of a sudden, no, we're not going out anymore.
Damn it, Kyle. Don't make me laugh, you bastard. Okay, that goes there.
What are you, my audience and stand-up? Because I frequently don't make them laugh.
Like, that's ridiculous because you do make people laugh all the time, but also is fucking hilarious because that shit does happen all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here.
The problem is they expect to laugh.
They're asking too much, clearly. Yeah. They should be a little less needy.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah. Also reasonable. All right. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these back in here. I'm pretty sure these are all just extras and littles. That's fine. All right. We're on to bag number 2 and bag number 2. Oh God. Yeah, at 6 we're gonna cut this and go over to Generation Dan, which will be where we're gonna talk about nostalgia and TV and all sorts of things. That's it. I was originally gonna build one of my Hogwarts sets because I have the Chamber of Secrets, and then we decided on the episode for Generation Dan today to be on TV versus streaming and how fucking psycho it is. And I was like, you know what? That's a good opportunity to get to do this. All right, so
you should just make me permanent and call it Generation Back.
I mean, we have we probably will do that. I mean, like, we'll still probably call it Generation Dan.
Well, yeah,
because we changed all the because we based it originally on who the 3 people we had, and then that changed almost immediately. I was like, shit. Yeah, it was Nick.
Yeah, but I saw an episode of Family Feud. Like, I didn't even see the episode. I saw a picture of something, and it was like he was on it.
What?
Like Family Feud Canada.
Oh, get lost for real?
I swear to God, but he was like with some, like, I think somebody in his family is like, there's a chick or something that's like more well known or something. I don't know, or it just was their family. I don't know.
Well, Nick's got like he's actually got like a math like a degree in mathematics and stuff, and like you're like, oh, you're actually smart. Why are you trying to make people laugh? Just get lost. Get the fuck out of here.
He's probably better at the smart.
Yeah, much better. Yeah. Listen, it's hard. I've met guys who are like, I thought that was going to be funny. I'm like, yes, that's the problem. When you think it's going to be funny, that's a problem. Trust me. Just don't. You're just trying to say things and cross your fingers. When you're like, I thought that was funny, and if you don't laugh, that's you. You're like, no. You can't tell the audience what to do. Like you can, but like you can't tell them now you have to laugh because then you're just a weirdo. You know.
Then your name's Amanda.
Anyways, here's Elmo. There you go.
Tickle this bitch.
Oh, bro. Some of those toys, I'm like, that is definitely some sort of serial killer toy. There's no.
I love playing with some. Like, I worked at a thrift store, so I'd get some of that shit in and like.
Oh yeah.
Free reign on some dumb shit.
I would 100%. Like, there was a guy who actually changed. It was Elmo or a Woody doll, and he opened it up and changed the recording in there. So it was like, get the fuck out of here. And the lady, he tried to return. He's like, hey, something's wrong with this.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's wrong? He's like, it's not saying what it's supposed to say because I don't remember this in the movie. And she's like, okay, well, what does it say? And he's like, go fuck yourself. And she's like, oh my God.
I saw.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like on TikTok and shit, right?
Yeah.
There's also, have you seen the guy who tries to redeem fake coupons?
No,
but it's like, get a free burger for dressing like a lobster today. Like, it's like,
oh my God.
And he'll go in and they'll look like the store, and he's like dressed like a lobster. And it's like, and they're like, but we don't have lobster. Like it's just like, some people know it's bullshit, and sometimes he gets stuff because it's just so retarded.
At some point, I feel like it would be easier, right? Like you just be like, just give him something. I don't know.
But like, yeah, it's just like, I don't know. He's coming with some good stuff. It's just like that guy who buys a greeting card with a broken arm, and then he asks you to ask the employee to write a poem for it, and then he'll come out with the worst thing.
Yeah, those are like top tier. But at the same time, I'm like, I kind of want him to give it to somebody. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Just watching them is so funny. Like, have you seen those?
Yeah, and
because I want to say a poem, but I can't remember them. But like, if you've heard it, you know. Like,
oh yeah, the best part is that every time it's a woman, they're like, I'm not gonna say that. Whereas every dude is like, fuck yes. They're like, absolutely. I will 100% do this. Yeah, they're like, I've been waiting this my whole life. No problem.
It's like,
I got you, bro.
Brad Williams. What is this? totally worth it because he got a car accident with a midget.
It's like, yeah, like, what are you talking? Like, I love when people are like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to partake in that." You're like, "Oh, that sounds like the funnest thing you could ever do. Let's go." Yeah, absolutely. I am down to clown. That's actually. Oh, so yesterday when we went, I went to this place. It was down on Queen Street East, and it was a carbon bar. Really, actually, pretty good food. A little pricey, but good barbecue. It's a little fusion. So some of it's like weird barbecue, but still tasty. And sure enough, huh?
I said Korean.
Yeah, it is.
I was just fucking. Anyways, go on.
So in the end, like the enjoyable part was that like right next, like 2 doors down, there was a pot shop, and I was like, man, maybe I should grab some edibles for dinner, right? And I'll just eat those before because I was still fairly empty, and it was closed. I was like, man, this is bullshit. Like that whole area is being gentrified, and I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah, but wasn't there one like 2 more doors there?
Like, no, well, I didn't want it. Got super sketchy like immediately, and I'm like, oh god. I'm like, seriously? Like, you know, when people just kind of look, like one guy just kind of looks at people and he's like, oh, it's gonna be real cold tonight, and you're like, yeah, that seems like a you problem, man. Fuck off. Just I don't. You should figure that out.
That seems like a homeless problem. That's why they frown on that being a choice. So.
Right? Yeah. It's. I mean, that's fine.
Honestly, I'm just not homeless because like I have a family. So also, I kind of don't at the same time, but yeah, that's.
Also, at the same time, who's gonna have the gall to kick you out? That would be hilarious.
Oh, they'll kick me out. They just.
Yeah. Then and what army? What army are they going to enlist to make that happen, there, sir?
Well, yeah, but like I don't know. It's only so much I can do. You know?
I mean, that's true. You can call me. I'll come over. I'll just sit down.
Yeah.
I am still fat enough to sit down and not have anybody.
So we're doing a non-violent sit-in. Just drag us out.
Yeah. If you are so intent, by all means. That's only fair. There, I need that one. I'm trying not to empty everything out, just so I can.
Just dump it out.
I want to. I really do, Kyle, but it's not going to be good for me.
That's also, thank you, Victoria, for actually doing the Today Special shit.
Yeah, greatly appreciated. Okay. Yeah. She's always that's the thing too, is I have said, like, I talked about Mr. Dressup, and she's like, I don't know who that is, and I'm like,
what?
Well, she grew up in London, right? She grew up in London, like London, UK, not London, Ontario. Let's be very clear.
The real one.
Yeah, the real. Well, I mean, for everyone else, just because people were like, "Oh, you mean like London, Ontario?" No, I don't. I definitely don't. That's horrible.
It's a horrible place.
It's a horrible place.
Apparently, a lot of people want to date there. Anyways.
I mean, it's possible. I just don't.
Oh, it just shows up on like some of my shit, but I'm like, you're too far. And then also from London. But,
yeah, I mean that is fair. That is a fair point of contention, sir. Okay, I am looking for.
It's funny. Like once I accidentally swiped the wrong way on an app, and then you're always like, shit. What if that person like actually matches with me? And then it's like, what are the odds? And then it totally happened. I was I had to unmatch quick. So.
I mean, that'll happen too. That will happen.
You know how I knew it was the wrong match? Because they matched. That's how shit apps are.
Bro, I honestly don't know, like, the suffering of going through those apps can only. I remember I was on Big Bang Theory, where it was Kamal Nanjiani. No, not Kamal Nanjiani. No, it wasn't Wayne Wolowitz. It was the Indian guy and the comic book store guy.
Oh, okay.
And they were like, "We should do this. This is great, yeah." And then there was like, "This is the worst idea ever." And I'm like, "Yeah, that sounds even more accurate because it's horrible." People forget that you're like, "Yeah, man, it's a fucking bloodbath sometimes."
No, like the apps are the worst, and Instagram it just like it just gives women a million options, and and then like men are fucked because of it.
Oh yeah. Which, that seems like the status quo these days. It's just one of those things that is going to happen.
Like, do I have to compete with the planet? Like
Yeah, well, that's the what I was watching today was there was a few job fairs that happened the last couple of weeks, and they're like, bro, people were waiting outside for 3 hours, and yeah, like nothing happened because they were just like, yeah, there's too many people. And then I like at the same time I'm seeing pictures of when the depression, like the happened in America, and like people are lining up for food, and you're going, that looks a lot the same. They're like, yeah, everybody wants a job, and there are no jobs, and you're like, yeah, that's how life happens.
But that's also how all those jobs pay minimum wage.
Yeah,
and then the problem, there's no jobs because people need 6 of them. Like,
yeah, 100%. It's actually 100% accurate.
How don't we just pay people what they're worth?
How dare you, Kyle? How dare you make sense? You monster.
Like, absolutely. People used to just like how much more money do some of these people need? Like,
well, that's like, definitely. Well, yeah.
I talked to my dad, and I'm just like, dude, an extra $2,000 a month, either way, is nothing to you. And to me, that's like everything. Like, yeah. That's the difference between survival and death. And he's like, I'm just like, yeah, like, fuck, man.
That's the world we're in right now, where it's like, yeah, if I had $2,000 a month, I'm like, oh, I'm good. That's it. I'm done. No problem. Sounds good. Have a great life.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not. That's not in the cards apparently. Or it's on me.
But it's like, yeah, it's just, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's why the whole the current climate is very confusing, especially I find for myself, where I'm like, I was under the impression that I am smart enough to go work somewhere and that's where I'll die and it'll be a-okay. Nope, that is false.
Yes,
it doesn't exist. It's tough. It's really tough, but what are you gonna do?
And then like I'll do jobs and I'll get paid like all this money for 2 days or whatever, 4 days, and I'm like, if I worked 40 hours a week for 4 weeks, I would not have made the same amount of money that I did in the 4 days. But it's just like the 4 days are less easily repeated. So,
and that's the other thing. You're going, wait, that doesn't jive. Like, how come these jobs are paying like this when it's like, look, you could have a part-time job that way and work a couple weeks a month and you're good to go.
Yeah, like if I worked that job, like literally those 4 days every month, I'd have no problems.
Yeah.
And that's just 4 days a month. But then like I have to do all this other bullshit that I don't want to do for penance and like just blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
And then even some of that's getting taken away. I have to
which is a whole other
that's an issue.
Cockamamie.
Okay, I don't have to explain it to anybody because I am alone.
God damn. We were so close to positivity, Kyle, you bastard. So close. So close.
Talking about positivity, I was thinking about Chris today.
Mr. Positive himself, yeah. I mean,
I don't even care that I pissed him off because it's just like, dude, you're fucking not competent.
Why? You pissed him off on thing at
yeah, like the last time I worked with him, but it was like a month ago or something.
Oh. Yeah.
No, because I'm just like, do it better. Like I can't. He's just like, and they just started doing it worse. I'm just like, I get that you don't want to be like, but like, dude, you haven't done any of this shit ever. Like clearly, because you don't know what you're doing.
Well, that's a different issue altogether, right?
And I have a problem with watching incompetence.
I think that's fair though, because incompetence is infuriating. There's no question there. I've seen people who are incompetent and I just kind of go, I'm gonna leave you here to do that, and I'll touch base a little later. And they're like, are you sure? And I'm like, well, I can't stay. And they're like, why not? I'm like, because I'll murder you. That's basically the problem I'm having here. So he's like, I want you to get as far as you can, and then come get me. And they're like, okay. They're like, so I'm done. And they come over. You're like, oh no, you're not. They're like, really? Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Someday you'll learn to be human. Me, I've been practicing for years. It's great. But
not all it's cracked up to be.
it's not. It really, you know, I definitely regret that decision of.
But it's like this society that I gotta say, more than less of us probably fucking hate. Like, we made this.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah.
how about we all change it? But the people in charge of changing it are the ones making, profiting from it. So it's like,
Well, the hilarity is basically that, like, I think about it this way: is that up until when everyone's was like, well, we live in a global, you know, everyone who the direct focus was globalization of everything. Well, now we have that, and now everyone's fucked. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
well, that was not what you guys said globalization. And you're like, it's going to be the best, and it's turned out to be the worst. So
Yeah,
why are we doing this?
They made money easier because they could have.
Yeah, well, they made money and trafficking and all that kind of stuff easier, where they're making a profit, but the rest of us are just sitting here with our fingers up our butts. Which I'm not saying that's not a good thing. I'm just saying that's not what we were promised.
Like, but no, like globalization is the same as the fucking. Fuck. I will get back to you.
All right.
No, it's social media as being, oh, we're more connected than ever. No. I've never been so disconnected in my life. Like,
yeah,
people aren't people anymore. They're just.
That's true too.
And they all want like the best, and then you have these people that are like I don't know who all these like 6 foot tall, 6 figure, all that shit 25-year-olds are, but I'm like single 35-year-old mom needs to manage her expectations, like like fucking.
Well, listen, but that's the thing is like why people are like, oh, I need to go to Dubai, and you're like, oh, do you have family in Dubai? No. But you have business in Dubai? No. So why do you need to go to Dubai? But well, I just need to go see it. You're like, sure, okay. So you save up for a couple of years, you plan a vacation. That's how life works. What's the problem? They're like, no, I'm gonna go right now, and you have to pay for it. You're like, oh, okay. Well, good luck with that. You have fun. I'll see you in hell.
Why do you have to pay for it?
Yeah, why? Like it's very.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
No, but there's a lot of people are standing there, and they're like, well, I want to go on vacation. You have to take me for a vacation. Like that's the grounds for more, and you're like that's that's way past what we're talking about. You're like, no, that's get the fuck out of here, right? Like it's people, the idea that people are trying to demand these exciting lives, and you're like, yeah, life is pretty boring in general, you know, like you have to work towards the idea of having a cool life and stuff. Not everyone starts off as Kyle. Okay,
Kyle didn't start off. Well,
Kyle didn't start off as Kyle either. That's also true. Right. It's one of those things where people are they demand so much but offer so little.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't want to date me, but you're looking at my stories. I don't know what that's like.
Well, that's the other thing. You're like, I feel like women are becoming a lot creepier, no?
Well, yeah.
Because they will, you know, oh, I'm checking him out. Like, why? If you just go talk to him. Well, I don't want to do that. Okay. He's come talk to me. Sorry, you already said that's not okay. No man. The reason men aren't approaching you is because you told them not to. So they said, oh, okay, then I won't do that. Or they're like, why aren't you doing that? You told me not to.
Or they were treated like shit when they did. Or they don't have to approach you. They have to approach you and your 6 fucking friends. And like, dude, yeah. Like the guy you marry the fucking dude who does that because fuck, he has balls of steel. Like,
at least set up a doctor's appointment for him as a courtesy. His balls are solid rocks.
It's like, the thing is, like Friday, I wanted to go out, and then it was cold. It was so fucking cold. There was no
bro. Even yesterday when I was outside, I was like, it was pretty brisk. I'm like, that's a lot.
It all just came in Friday night, lasted, and now it should be pretty decent out. But it's like,
yeah, maybe. I'm hoping, like, that's the thing is, I don't mind the cold, but these last few days haven't been cold. It's like deathly cold. Actually, there was a lady who came. She was a refugee from Africa. She just arrived like on Thursday. She went from the airport to a shelter she was waiting outside for 3 hours to get in the shelter, and then she died outside because they didn't do anything for her. Like they didn't let her in. And I'm like,
well, that's an immigration issue.
but at the same time, you're going like, it's not just an immigration issue. This person had nothing. You told her to come there, and then you left her outside on the Thursday where you're like, it was deathly cold, and everyone was like,
if they did that in like Somalia, they would have fine.
yeah, well, right, like that's the problem. You're going, hold on, that you can't do that to people. You can't tell people, hey, come over, and then go, oh yeah, you're gonna die. You're like, what? No.
This is not a house party thrown by me, my friend.
It's like, that's the reality of it, though. I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm just like, yeah, that's fucking alarming. That's for sure. Okay, I'm looking for a long blue piece, and I cannot see it, and I'm worried that it has disappeared somewhere. Nope. I don't know where it is. Awesome. So good. Oh no, I'm good. I was looking for the piece that I've already attached to it because I'm an idiot. There you go. Ta-da! Magic. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's. I assume you're gonna go to emo night next week.
Oh, maybe. Well, we'll see. Whatever. I don't know. Every day is different for me, but yeah, that's the goal right now, I guess. Nothing else.
Fair enough. Mm-hmm.
It's just very hard for. That's the thing. It's just hard to meet people. So when you have somebody, you want to stick it out a bit, but then no.
That's for sure. I think a lot of people don't realize how like much that's changed, especially over the last few years. Especially like dealing with the pandemic, where it's like everyone was afraid to leave the house. You get into a situation where it's like, okay, well, I'd rather stay home than talk to anyone. And you're like, yeah, that's super, super, super unhealthy. It's not good for anything. But
I know that's how I live, man. I come across so few people. I don't know what to. And then I do, and it's like, it's different for me. Like,
yeah,
you've witnessed things. Anyways.
It's not that, you know what? You make it sound as if you're like the awkward, like, don't touch me. I don't know what I'm doing here. It's like, that's not. Kyle's fine in the crowd. He's okay. And also, you can always find him. You can always find him.
The opposite things. I do well in a crowd. I work in a crowd. They come to me like it's fucking
every
weird.
time.
But you can't have that all the time. But like it's.
I say you can, sir. I believe in you. Well, I believe in Kyle.
No, but like you don't want it all the time. But like.
Speak for yourself. I am a whore for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, but like I don't know. I like the attention, obviously, but there's something fell off.
Yeah, I know, because it fell into the staircase.
All right, that was the purpose.
Which the stair. So there's so just so you guys can understand is that remember how there was that spider and the little hole thing. So the hole is underneath the stairs. The spider is in that window. You'll never see it ever. Why it's there? Don't know.
Well, you can look at it though. At least there's a window.
You can, but like you're not going to. And if you do, you'll regret it.
But if you have me on a taller shelf and a kid comes in, or your wife,
look in that window and see what's there. Yeah, I probably would do that. That's to be honest. That definitely seems like something I would ruin someone's day with. Good point, Kyle. Good point. Way to call me out. Thanks, buddy. Really appreciate that.
I like to make your streaming always the worst for you.
I have a great time. Let's be very clear.
I need your help to know how to. Anyways.
Yeah, no, we'll take care of it. We'll
set it up. The YouTube thing I did correctly. I don't know.
That happens. Don't worry.
And then I can go straight. And then I could stream and people will be like, why?
It's just Kyle ranting. Rants by Kyle. I mean, I would watch that. I think it'd be funny.
Oh, dude, that's fucking actually having something to talk to. That's gonna be fucking insane, right?
Just be
although, like, I don't know, man. I'll never get a date then. Fuck.
Well, you'll get a very specific one.
Yeah,
something very. It's hilarious. Like, so, when was it that we checked? So it's like because Kyle is 99. It's like 0.3% of the population is taller than Kyle. I'm at like 97, 96.
So like 3%.
Yeah, it's like 3%, 4%. And then you're like, yeah, but over 6 foot, you're like, yeah, there's only 15% of the population that's over 6 feet. Just it's not like so. The idea that people are like, you have to be 6 feet. You're like, no, that's not.
My one friend, she just told me, she's like, oh, I need you to get together with like my brother-in-laws or something. She's like, 2 of them are about 6'8" or more.
Jeez.
And then there's like, so I'm just like, I don't know if I can handle that.
I mean, it's gonna be an experience where you're looking up and like the end of the night, you're gonna be like, my neck is messed up.
Like I just hung out with a dude who was like 6'10" and a half. Okay, but there was one. So now if I have 2 people taller than me, that I feel like that could be different.
That could definitely be. You're gonna go answer that call.
Ryan's calling me.
Ryan who? Beverage?
Yeah.
All right, well, take it. Whatever you want.
No, I declined.
I'm busy building Lego while watching somebody build Lego.
Just I'm not busy at all, really. It's like it's weird, but it's like funny because it's like to do the thing, and I haven't done it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like shed life. Even my cousin's like, you should do it again still. And I was like, he's like Trailer Park Boys, you know. I'm like, yeah, I get that, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't been feeling anything lately.
That will happen. Yeah. That's not an it's not a unique experience, right? Like
it's funny because I want to better my social life, but at the same time, like not focusing on it would probably be the better way to do it. But
yeah, it's a weird puzzle.
It really is.
Because you try and say to yourself, you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna focus on the XYZ. And you're like, okay, do the XYZ, and you're kind of going, okay, but the easiest way to do XYZ is to not do anything at all. And you're like, okay,
yeah,
and that has it's proven to be accurate, which is even worse, right?
Especially on the problem, just you don't solve anything, you just create more problems.
I mean, that's the aggravation of that whole thing, right? There. Okay, we are building walls. We are building.
It's been over a month since I talked to him.
I see there are a lot of people who go that long without talking to people, and I'm like, okay, like I understand that, but like, don't call me after that. Like it's been a month.
No, but it's like I haven't talked to him. I guess like it's like, well, I used to reach out to him more before I was talking to you, so it's like,
well. I think you've moved on up. That's but I'm you know.
I don't know. It's funny because we're more similar. Him and I don't know. He was just like more woke, and I wouldn't even consider him like all that woke. But like,
I mean,
I don't know. Sometimes he pissed me off.
Well, we are very
a pretty girl, you know. Like I don't care. Like he acts like I don't know.
You couldn't point out a pretty girl in front of him.
Well, it's just like I would say stuff, and it's just like it wasn't like crazy or anything, but I'm like, I don't know,
man. I've never
like I'm girl hungry. I'm like, dude, why are you a fucking neutered? Like, I don't know, man. Like,
but he's not married or anything, right? Like he's
no.
Then what?
I don't understand these guys who are just like, well, like I understand the giving up, but I don't understand guys not being interested.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Yeah,
but like
get a T-level checked or some shit. I don't know, man.
But that's the thing is like there's such a huge like I've always done some sort of working out, like not a lot, but always done something, like mostly like grip workouts and stuff like that. Like I'll do something actively, but at the same time, like I'm never like, oh, I don't work out, I don't do anything. You're like, no, that you can't, you'll die. Like that's your body needs that component in your existence. So like the amount of people who do nothing, and I'm like, well, what did you expect? Like, yeah, everything's gonna have a problem now because you're not doing the stuff.
No, they're all, yeah. The fucking pancake people, and not a solid in them. And then,
that's a great fucking line, bro. We can start calling people pancakes.
I just came up with it too.
God, that's gonna ruin someone's existence someday. I'll tell you that much.
Pancake people. Yeah, because like, but I don't get. But then when they have to do anything physical, they're either weak as shit or they're like just using joints. Like they're using the like their skeletal system is carrying it, and it's like no, that's not good.
No, that will cause serious damage to your body.
Well, that's how because people are lifting incorrectly, but you need to use the muscle.
Yeah, that's
the form isn't even as important once you're using muscle. Like if you look strong, man, the form is old. Like they've been doing it for hundreds of years, but they're still using muscle, even though everything about it is the opposite of what you tell people to do.
Well, but that's the thing is, as long as like the form of what you do is what makes you use the muscle instead of your joint. Like that's how why form is so important. But it's like, yeah, as long as you're using muscle, it's okay. If you're not using muscle, it's not okay. That's how that works.
Well, because they know how to engage without form.
Yeah. So that's the graffiti on the wall.
That's actually
it's pretty cool. And then in here is, I guess, a classroom or a bulletin board of some sort.
No, but remember, like Sesame Street's taking some turns. They're like, we're gonna have a homeless one. The dude lives in a can forever, but you need a homeless Muppet.
Yeah, like that is offensive.
And then they're like, oh, we're making one because to be black or Hispanic or something. I'm just like, was the purple one white? Like, I don't understand. Like, what are you trying to like? Now you're bringing races into it when it was race neutral. Like
that was the best part. It was race neutral because there's a blue guy, there's an orange one. The count is purple.
Yeah, and then
and you have a giant canary. I'm like, oh, what are you talking about?
And then it's like, if there's a yellow person, were the white people supposed to take that, or like like I don't.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the who's the guy who died? It was during the pandemic. I think it was the Spanish guy died, and I was like, bro. That I cried a little bit. I'm like that was a part of my childhood, and the guy with the black guy too, he passed away, and I was like, man.
Well, on the show when I was a kid, one of the dudes died, and they made an episode about it because they had to explain him.
Which is that's the best part about it, right?
It was. It mattered. It used to matter. Now it's just stupid. I think. Well, I don't know. I haven't watched it, but I assume the changes they're making make it sound. Yeah, this is not good.
I mean, like that's the real problem with it, right? Like there's a very I cannot say that Sesame Street did not have an impact on my growth as a human being. There's no I would never even attempt to say such a thing. But like, yeah, it definitely made me think of things in a different way, and also like say, hey, like there are like that was the same thing with traveling, was like seeing how other people live. Hugely beneficial in the long run, because you're just like, hey, we're not all experiencing the same thing. That was like one of the things when people were like, oh, we're all in the same storm. And you're like, no, we're not. Some of us are hanging on to a door in the water, and other ones are off of the door hanging on, and you guys are in a yacht. We are not having the same experience during this thing, right?
I like how you're Rose or Jack or fucking like Jeff Bezos.
I mean, I feel like those are the two. Like that's it.
Those are the three options.
That's anything more. You're like, nope.
Yeah, because there's no middle class. So it's just
not anymore.
Class and people hanging on to a door.
Yeah. Well, that's like I remember people, like so many people that were actively like they were tradesmen, but then they started catering to like the ultra rich, and that's the only reason why they were able to stay tradesmen, was because they were catering to people who were obscenely wealthy. And you're like, that's. But they did exceptional work. Like that was the whole deal, right? So I'm like, oh, I understand exactly what happened, but that doesn't make it good. It just makes it horrible. So there's that.
Well, like you should be successful in a trade nowadays.
Yeah, well now, but that's it. The hard. I actually looked at becoming an apprentice, and they were like, oh, it's like $15,000. I'm like, no, an apprentice. They're like, yeah. You got to pay. And I'm like, no, an apprentice. You pay me and I learn. That's how an apprenticeship works. They're like, no, we don't do that anymore. I'm like, all right, well, best of luck. Sorry. I'm not,
what, though?
I was going to go electric. Well, so a conversation I had while working at the bank with an electrician was, he goes, hey, man, there's two things that everyone needs in life. Number one, everyone will always poop. Number two, everyone always wants to see in the dark. And I'm like, plumbing or electrical. He's like, that's it. He goes, those two. He goes, there will always, like, remember, we might move on from the medium of building with wood. That's a possibility. We may move on from, like, my dad was a machinist, maybe not using, like, those are things because we can 3D print now. There's lots of stuff, but electrical and plumbing, those are forever things that, like, I'm sorry, you will always need in society.
If we figure out Tesla's fucking coil that provided free energy to everybody.
But then even still, having it run through the house is still a thing.
I felt like that was more of a Wi-Fi situation.
I mean, possibly. There's a huge component to all of it, right? Like, it's a weird situation that we're in anyway. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I'm like, I do really enjoy electricity and stuff. And I've done some little things. Like, I was thinking of getting one of those, like, 101 electrical experiments you can do for kids, and I was like, just playing with it and see what happens, because you get, like, an electrical board and you can build stuff. I even have some motorized Lego stuff that I'm gonna build. So
that's funny though, because at one point I was looking at stuff like that because I wanted to build a robot.
Yeah, I would really.
They're all like really expensive. Like,
you know what we could do is you can try and teach each other electronics as an entire podcast, just learning how to do shit, and then, like, because we can get one of those sets for not as expensive as you think, and then just go from there. But just an idea.
Vote in the comments.
Vote in the comments. What trade should we try and learn? And by trade,
I mean, think, like, us getting electrocuted is definitely worth watching.
100%, bro. Have you seen that guy who does it and he always electrocutes himself, like, every time, and, like, things will start to burn and light on fire, and he's like, ah! They're always hilarious, and I'm like, I could do that. But yeah, it's very entertaining. I love watching people almost
or watch people, you know, clean carpets, and that's pretty interesting.
Oh man, too long, too much watching of that, Kyle.
Me and Natasha bonded over that. Like, we already bonded already, but, like, yeah, we bonded on it. And then she sent it to me once. It was funny because it's like, obviously you're making a video, but sometimes they'll do these carpets, and I'm just like, who paid for that to be clean? Because quite frankly, like, let it go.
Yeah, just let it. Yeah, when you're okay. When it's totally black, and I'm like, just burn it. But
like, it's like, one time it was like a little kids thing, and it wasn't even that big, and I'm like, but I know that cleaning it costs like $300, or like yeah, I'm like, that thing ain't worth $300 brand new, even if it looks brand new. Like,
it's fair.
And fair then, point. But, like, whatever, it's probably their shop and their shit, and they got it for free.
I mean, like, I assume just for content that people just drop off insane shit.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because it is like, bro, there's been that woodworking, guys who were farriers that were fixing the hooves of cows or horses and stuff and putting on the shoes. I'm like, I'll watch that for fucking ever. And I'm like, that is not healthy, but I'll watch it. I'm just like, and they're like, yeah, see, this is really bad. And they're like, this is how we help it out. And I'm just like, science. It's, yeah, well, that's the thing is, like, horses are pretty terrifying in general because, like, bro, they'll kick your brains right out of your head. And that's if they hit you in the ass. Like, it just comes right out. Like, they are terrifying. But at the same time, you're like, yeah, fucking wild animal. Like, the amount of damage and power, like, I can only imagine the feeling of going to war on something like that. You're like, bro, like, how could you not fight and be also rock hard at the same time? Like, it's
I've ridden a horse, and it was not great.
You didn't like it?
Well, the horse fucking did whatever the fuck it wanted. It was like some trail horse, and they, like, kept yelling at me to don't let the horse do anything. Like, don't let him eat on the trail. I'm like, dude, you gave me like a 3-second tutorial, and then the horse came up and went to talk to his girlfriend. Like, if you thought I had control over this horse, you were fucking wrong because you didn't give me any info.
Yeah, it
was Clairville over there.
Like, that's number one, hilarious, but also too, like, yeah, you're like, you have to, like, there's a certain amount of connection you need with an animal like that, because you're like, yeah, it can kill you whenever it wants. You can't, like, there are some horses you're like, yeah, don't touch that horse, you'll die.
But like I technically rode a horse. I can't say I drove a horse or like it did whatever the fuck it was doing what it was doing. And they're like yelling. And they're like, oh, like they yell the horse's name, right? And I'm just like, fuck off at this point. I'm like, you taught me nothing. Like you're like
Right.
choke up on the reins. I'm like, then he goes backwards. Like I don't know what you want from me.
See, like
You didn't even tell me how to hold them properly. Like they're fucking idiots.
I had a pretty good experience with a horse, and I still, it was the only time I ever ridden a horse. Was number one, I had to like walk up a set of stairs to get to it because I was too heavy to just like jump on. Now I'm confident I can do that. Like I'm mobile enough and like I can lift myself up like that. But like I jumped on. I'm like, are you guys sure I'm not going to kill this horse? Like, trust me, he can take it. It was a big, like it was a horse. It wasn't a pony, but it wasn't like a Clydesdale or anything like that. But it was a big horse. And then I was probably kicking around $4 and like I'll tell you this, my crotch hurt for like 4 days afterward. I was like, yeah, but it was at one point he actually like, so we went through a forest and there was like a trail and no big deal, but then like everyone else had gone because we were going really slow, and then he kind of saw his opening and he just took off, and it was like a full gallop, bro. And I'm telling you, I was rock hard. I was like, this is glorious. Like, yeah, I totally understand why people went to war, because this is such an awesome experience. And then he stopped, and when we caught up to everybody, people were like, how'd you get him to do that? And I'm like, I didn't do shit, bro. He is in charge. Like, I'm holding on. That's what I'm doing, you know? Yeah.
See, I wanted to go. I think there was a Clydesdale. Those are just the big ones, right?
Yeah.
But they're like seem a little more grounded. No,
well, like that's like you and me. Yeah, you're like, people were like, go fast. You're like, I'm not going fast. I'm just
but I wanted to ride that. Like there was one like that. Like, you know, he's pulled a buggy for his life, and he's like, he's good.
Yeah.
But then they gave me like the younger one who has a girlfriend and just like a fucking asshole, I guess. Yeah.
Dirty slut.
I'm just like, dude, and then no information. I'm just like, fuck me. And then yeah, it ran. I bounced on my balls. Fuck.
A lot.
Like I'm just like, oh, I'm like, do you between the tight jeans and the horses back in the day, how did you have any kids? Like,
also, that's a fair. You know what? I that is a fair question, sir. That is a fair question that I have asked myself as well. Because you're going like, man, if this was hitting your nuts that much. I watched Yellowstone, and the one kid that they trained, they're like, after a day, he's like, my dick hurts so much, and I'm like, yeah, that's the feeling. That's the thing. You got to learn that shit, bro. Like, it's not easy. Oh
yeah,
man.
No, I found the biggest chore was watching Yellowstone.
So here's some family pictures that are going inside the bedroom.
No, but people are like, oh, it's so good, but there's like a hump, dude. Like there's a hump.
Yeah.
But like it's funny, like you see these shows that are canceled after one episode, but then Yellowstone, you have to make it to the 8th. And I'm just like, that's a big ask.
I mean,
like,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Like, I'm like, why is this slutty, like his daughter, who is like all promiscuous and shit, but she looks 45 for fuck's sake. So like, fuck.
She's also British. Like, what you
like I'm like, what is this? And then, so yeah, I can. And then it's just like tribal land. Like, there's only so much shit I can give a shit about.
That's fair.
Well, I do appreciate that the natives were fucked. Yeah. Every other country, exact same thing. Like it's just we have to listen to ours. Like I don't know.
Well, so this is one of the things where I'm like, I love getting into this argument with people, is that I'm like, oh, you guys know that Greece was enslaved for 400 years and they only got free about 40 years before the Emancipation Proclamation. So like, that's not old. That's recent, and you guys are complaining about the same thing. So I'm not sure who's got an argument here. And there's like, that's not true. You're like, Google it. It's very true, actually. So,
but it's like Six Nations. I'm like, dude, you guys missed your opportunity, because the fun thing, when there was you guys versus like the cavalry, you had a chance. But if you want to turn your like Six Nations army on Canada, you're gonna lose. You're all just gonna be gone quickly. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be over, because they haven't given you clean water in fucking 100 years. So you know, like,
which, bro, that I'm like, what do you mean there's no clean water? They're like, yeah, they don't have access to clean water. And you're like, and nobody's saying anything. Cool. Yeah, I think that's where you start, guys. That is definitely.
Remember? Okay, when I think it was around the last election, wherever the fuck that was, but Trudeau was going around. He's like, when I came into office, there was 105 water warnings, and we have fixed 106 of them. And he would and he would never change that. So that's he would never even explain that because he's too stupid. But it's like obviously you guys fixed some, and then they became unfixed. So there could be just as many still, but like he fixed more than were originally broken, but still more broke, right? Like it's like,
let's be honest, that didn't make any fucking sense. Like not a lick of it. Not a lick of fucking sense, right? But
so it was just like he's going around spewing this shit and just stupid, and then like and then he flips out on reporters who don't like just let him say his fucking rehearsed bullshit.
I love that where they cut the interview. He goes, no, we still have to talk about stuff. He's like, oh no, that's the end of the interview, and you're like, oh, just suck it, you piece of shit. Because there's not as like there is a lot of control over the media here. There's no question. CBC is their puppet, but in all honesty, like some people are still trying to be like, no, I'm not playing the game, and you're like, ooh, I love a little drama.
No,
stick it to it. Because no, I'm sorry, that was the job of the reporter, right? Like that whole idea was that you were getting that information to us, and then we as people would make a decision. You didn't make the decision, you brought it to the people. Like that, you were the messenger. But now it's like, oh no, now we're telling you how to think. You're like, oh, I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. No, thank you.
No, but like that's the only reporter who did her job. Like,
right? Yeah.
Like she's not just there for you to spew the same shit on a different network. Like,
that TikTok that goes around every so often where it's like all the different reporters and they're saying the exact same script, and you're like, oh, you pieces of shit. Because you're just like, oh, I'm glad somebody put this all together because it's factual. You're like, I'm sorry, none of you are fucking being true to your word. And the idea of a journalist not trying to find the truth and being told what to tell, you're like, no, that's not your job. I'm sorry, like that. No, absolutely not. Just stop it. Stop crying. No crying in kindergarten. It's ridiculous. But what can you do? We can revolt, Kyle. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start a revolt. Can you imagine how much trouble that's oh man. There's been a lot of people getting called out for that shit, eh? Recently, people getting visited by the RCMP. It was like, you said bad stuff on the internet. And they're like, yeah, I did. What are you gonna do about it? Well, we want to make sure you're okay. I'm fine. Are you gonna take it down? Nope. Well, then we're gonna be here next time you post stuff. I'll be having coffee, no problem. And you're just like, shit.
That's the difference about Canada and the US, though. They come in with like guns. Here, they're like, you should stop, and then I'm like, nah. And they're like, oh, we'll see you later.
Yeah, well, we'll be back.
Don't stop. We're gonna come back and tell you to stop again.
You're like, okay, you let me know. I'll have some coffee. We'll talk about it, but I'm not changing. All right.
Stop by the Timmy's.
Stop by Timmy's. We're gonna have a little coffee, maybe a little double. All right. I mean, I'm game. I'm game for that. That's a fun time, in my opinion. So we'll finish this bag. There's still a lot. I gotta build windows and shit. God damn. Then once this is done, then I'll stop it, and then we'll reconvene probably tomorrow. I'll finish this bad boy up. So far, it's pretty fun. I'll tell you that. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. When are we supposed to have an election? I've never voted in my life, by the way.
Dude, so we're in Canada. We don't have scheduled elections.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that, like, the NDP, I think it's not even till 2000. I can't even happen until next year because the Liberals struck a deal with the NDP or some shit.
Ugh, God. Like that, like, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we're supposed to be fighting against.
But
No, but the problem is that well, back in the day, politicians, despite being on different parties, actually still work together, and now they won't even pass laws they agree with.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because the other guy came out with it. It's just like, what the fuck is that? How is that not broken? Like,
100%. 100%. Right. You're like,
why
what?
is
Yeah.
it a popularity contest? Like, do these guys even know how to do stuff? Like, and
I-
why? Like, in the States, it's like, why do you have like 4 years to learn how to run a country? Like, like you're like 8 years tops. How about you find a guy who's pretty good at it and like keep him there?
I mean, like that was one of the things where I forget who it was that was talking about it, was saying like, hey, like no one's actually, you can't have experience as being the president. Like you just get the job and then it's like best of luck, and you're like, oh, that's a absolutely insane idea. But like, and realistically, it's not a job that can be done by one person anymore.
No. And your predecessor leaves you a note. Like,
yeah, right. It's a very peculiar situation because people are more focused on, well, instead of doing what's right or affecting change, instead it's just, well, I want to get reelected. You're like, okay, you know how you get reelected? By doing shit.
yeah.
They're like, no.
I don't know. I might be the prime minister soon because it's like, how many countries have had like a comedian just get fed up and run and then win?
Bro. That is one of the funniest parts
Like,
about what's his face, Zelensky.
Yeah, Ukraine, fucking Iceland did it. I think there's probably somewhere else too.
Did Iceland do it too?
Yeah, like they did it first. Like it was like, if you watch what's that Michael Moore movie, the one that's like,
I don't know.
forget which one it was. There was one of the newer ones, obviously, but he just went to other countries and found stuff that worked. And like, but it was all like, it was funny because it was very pro-America because they were all based off of like literally shit in the Constitution, but it's not followed. Like going to Spain and how there's nobody in jail for drug use, or like it's all decriminalized, right?
Yeah.
And it's like these people aren't criminals; they have problems. And then there's like France; they have like pretty much chef-made meals that are all healthy and a cheese course and all this shit, all much higher quality food than the States, and costs less than what they pay for their school children.
Yeah.
And then there's like, there's a few other but there was they talk about the dude who's prime minister or president of Iceland, and he just like, he's a comedian who ran as a joke because just to make fun of them, like both sides, show how it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
And then the asshole won. And now he's just like, I don't know what the fuck I have to do. It's like,
at that point, it's like,
I'll learn how to run the country, right?
can you imagine?
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Can you imagine though? Like, wait, I'm gonna win? Like, what are you guys, fucking crazy? And then they're like, yeah. And you're like, that's a horrible idea. I'm a comedian. They're like,
but
great.
like, what I don't get is they were talking about Stephen Colbert would have had 18% of the vote when he like at his height, and he could have run like
when he was actually funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but I've never really, like, I've seen clips and they're always funny in clips, but I don't really watch them. But like, what if Taylor Swift just ran for president? I'm like, she's not Kanye West. She could make a dent. Like, she would make a dent.
I think Kanye versus Taylor Swift would be the best election ever.
Well, that's just like Golden Globes or whatever.
I mean,
or whatever the fuck, Grammys. I don't know.
Isn't it Grammys, Tony, whatever? Yeah,
it wasn't Tony's. Tony's is for Broadway, but
okay.
That's the only, like, that's the one I know. Golden Globes is like TV, so but
Emmy, yeah, Emmy is our music. Yes, that's right. Aha! See, we're not that old and ridiculous.
Grammys are music.
Grammys are music. Grammys are music too.
Grammys
yeah. That's what I said. What are Emmys? Emmys are
that's TV. I don't daytime Emmys. Yeah,
daytime Emmys. It's like yeah. You're right.
Well, there's a daytime and nighttime, but it's funny. I'm like, you win a Grammy, and then it's just like, but then there's like Latin Grammys. I'm like, what? But like, why do they have their own? Like, oh, because we weren't represented. But it's just like,
that's not how that. Okay.
But it's so silly. I mean, it's just like, well, I'm like, Grammys don't represent hip hop because so the hip hop has their own like.
Yeah.
but then they do like other stupid awards. What are ours? The Junos now, but they used to be the Geminis. That was much better. As a Gemini.
As someone who identifies as that, it was very important to me.
I don't identify. I just identified as. I was identified as.
You were told how to identify. That's fair. That's
Yeah. Back in the day, that's what we did with kids. Well, less questions to do.
I mean, that's fair. That is.
Wonder why they're all confused these days? Well, that's why.
Yeah, it's because people are being allowed to make their own decisions.
Yeah.
Get that shit out of there.
I can tell you, I'm still not the best choice for that.
I still question my own ability to choose things.
Yeah. Like, fuck.
Absolutely. I tell you.
Yeah.
That is one of those things that is fucking correct. God.
Oh, so I just want to, I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like Cole talks about it. He's like, well, you just like meet people. It's just like, dude, go out there. I don't know where you're going. If there's like, you go to bars and shit. I'm like, there's no women there. Like,
oh, there's definitely no women there.
They all go to like one that I don't know about or some shit.
But that's the thing is like, also, what are you gonna like? I remember being a teenager and going to clubs and stuff like that. I do remember that, but like, yeah, that was a long time ago. It's not.
Yeah, but I don't want to meet a girl in the club because I
no,
don't go to clubs. Like,
that's also not where you find a girl that you want to stay with.
No. But like I should focus solely on girls I don't want to stay with because when I want to stay, they don't. So fuck. Like I might as well leave first.
Bro, that like that is not funny, but also hilarious. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I'm not even. I expect the laughter. Fuck.
Yeah, but I feel bad because
well, I feel bad too. What do you think? They're not leaving you.
They have. It's not like I'm unleavable.
Well, yeah.
I'm even here. Now that I'm fast, that's the only reason why Victoria stay around. She can't outrun me anymore.
I don't know. Maybe she can.
Thanks, Kyle. Thank you.
I like to give her hope.
Well, listen. You need hope in your life. That's fair.
I need a chick named Hope. I don't know.
I don't know. See, there's always I have like names do have power. They really do.
Oh yeah, because like I've met a lot of Kyles and we're all just unfortunate.
It's I mean, I have yet to meet a Kyle that wasn't talented. I'll tell you that. I have yet to meet I've yet to meet a Costa. So my name can go either people will go by Dino, Costantino, or Costa. Some people, especially like guys who were born in Canada who go by Costa, always the worst. Like 100% of the time, the worst people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
It's consistent. I've never had any different experience. And people are like, really? And I'm like, the worst. Every time. It's just, it's a one of those things that drives me crazy.
Dinos that I know, and it's you and a purple dinosaur, and I am a fan of both.
I mean, that works. That's I've only there's very, very few dinos. Like at least here. That's why like I've even told people I'm like, so if you go to a mall, right? Like you go to a mall and you're hanging out and someone in that mall, like you're in a big area and someone goes, Dino, it's me. They're looking for me. Just so you know, someone is looking for me. You should let me know. And they're like, that's not real. I'm like, it's very real. Trust me. And then sure enough, somebody that happened to a friend of mine. And he was like, are you at Bramley City Center? I'm like, yes. He's like, are you missing someone? I go, did it actually happen? He's like, I'm not even fucking joking. This is where I am. He's like, come find me. And I'm like, all right, cool. And it was, I forget, it was a buddy or somebody, like, I forget who it was, but it was just like, yeah, man, that is a real fucking thing. Cause, yeah, there aren't many dinos. It's just fucking weird. But
in Greece, if you scream Dino, like 10 people will turn around and go, yeah.
So it's a weird experience. I'll tell you guys that much.
Yeah, not a lot of dinos here. There's enough Kyles.
There is quite a few. I have met quite a few Kyles, but
one time I was like talking to a chick, and well, this is like high school. Don't worry, she rejected me too. Anyways.
God,
Bless you.
excuse me. Thank you.
But she was like, "What's your name?" or whatever. I asked, and I'm like, "Kyle." She's like, I was the first Kyle that she had ever met. She always had like friends who had friends named Kyle or some shit, but then I was like, "I'll be your first," and then it didn't. Yeah. Anyways,
and she was like, "My first."
I meant it as an innocent joke, but it didn't win. Anyways, and then, but like at one point in my life, I had known 8 Kyles.
Jesus, that's a little too many, Kyle.
Like there were I've been in 2 classrooms with more than 2 others. Like, well, with 2 others at least.
Yeah,
And one time we just sat 3 in a row, and 2 of us were Kyle P. And we sat right next to each other as well.
That's not.
But the teacher quickly learned that I had no interest in participating in class, so I did not need to be distinguished as much. It was German class.
That's fair enough. Well, I mean, no one participates with the Germans. That's just how it is.
Well, I think the Italians did. I don't know.
Why you got to do that, Kyle?
Anything to take the Italians down in the World War II.
I mean, you know what? Actually, so hilariously, I called my wife racist the other day, and I said it's because it's a blonde white girl, and she goes, "I'm not racist." She's like, "I like Monica Bellucci." I'm like, "She's Italian. That's not white. So let's calm down." And she's like, "Whatever." Just let me know.
I'm with her on that.
Yeah,
Italians are white.
No, they're not. False. False. Absolutely false, sir.
You're false.
I mean, I can't refute that. There's been some times, but also maybe not. Maybe I'm just a piece of imagination come to life. That is also possible. Bro, I'll tell you this much: on Friday, I definitely was questioning reality. There's no question there.
See, I had the best trip I had in a while, and I only did like 2.5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I've just been overdoing it. My leg, I wrapped up my leg. I also did it right, like I ate it and then I did my cold plunge.
Really?
Well, I was already out by the time they hit. Right, like it's.
Yeah. You got like a half hour, right?
Well, yeah, I'm only in for like. I've beefed it up a bit lately, but it's like 8 to 10 minutes. You don't even really need to go past 8, like 3 to 5. But I just wanted to do a little longer, and then it's funny because I used to. I obviously I didn't really like it. I just like how it made me feel, and then I started kind of liking it, and now I don't like it again. But which is almost better because the benefits are more. I get the benefit of doing something that I don't want to do, and also the benefits of like the actual cold therapy.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
Yeah.
Well, cold therapy is like that's the weird part about that whole thing, right? Like there are definite benefits. There's no question there, but there is a cost to your. Like, I would think that once you've done it, you're gonna feel more. I guess will powerful, but like to get there, like that's a lot. It's a lot to decide. I
still come into mind like the 2 parts I don't like is getting in the water and getting out of the water.
That's fair.
But it's like I get in so quickly that it doesn't even. Like, it's not that effective. Just the other day, it sucked because I had one piece of ice that, like, lodged between the wall and my shoulder, like my back. And I'm just like, oh, that's horrible. I had to move to get it. And the more you move, the more you're in and out of the water, bugs. But, because, it's like if you're totally submerged, you're pretty warm. If you're totally out, you're pretty warm. But it's when you're, like, half in, half out type shit.
Yeah. That makes sense. I get it.
So there's parts of me that's kind of like I'm huge. So parts of me are a little out at times, and I can only get so like my shoulders get a little halfway in. So most of my chest gets in and everything I believe necessary. But
fair.
But then, like, yeah, it's like I don't want to. When you get up immediately, like the cold sets in just as you're getting out. But it's like quick, right?
Yeah.
Like a second.
I mean, but it's gonna be like, man. Yeah, I definitely want to try a cold plunge, but at the same time, I'm absolutely terrified of the idea of a cold plunge. You know,
It's not like I don't know. It's not a big deal. Like it's really not.
that's because you've been doing it.
Yeah, but it's like even my first one wasn't that bad, and I only have it like I don't know. There's I guess I only have it so cold because it's the coldest I can get it. But
Pretty
I've
cool.
been getting it cold. Well, I like it less now because I've been getting it colder. I guess because I have like cinder blocks of ice and like.
Yeah, I
Like,
was
sorry.
actually thinking of getting a barrel and putting it outside and seeing what happens.
Yeah, but I know that like. So Rebecca, Sophia's sister,
Yeah, yeah,
she bought a cold plunge for her husband. He uses it twice a day. I'm like badass.
nice.
But they had to get like a heater almost for it because it would like
Free
they're in
solid.
like Alliston or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
So it would get like frozen.
Mm,
So he has to like keep it above freezing.
yeah. But I think that's the key, right? All right. So we are.
Wow, you really put that. It's almost like it's like done to this point.
Yeah, to this point, it is done. But right now, so we are. So he has. I guess there's a bedroom and a foyer. Why you're sleeping in the foyer, I don't know, but that's where it's at right now. I guess we will shut this mother down, take a little break, and then reconvene for Generation Dan. So this was part 1, everyone. We're gonna go into part 2 probably tomorrow. That's fine. But come back at 6 o'clock and we'll have Generation Dan. Sound good?
Woo.
All right. Later, everyone. See you soon.